Hey everyone, welcome to the Dividend Dreams channel. This is episode 2 of our series Monthly Dividend Diaries for July 2025. Thank you so much for joining. Pull up a chair, grab a tasty beverage, get comfortable. Time to talk about some monthly dividends. Before we go further, though, I do want to say that I am not an investment professional. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I give or nothing I talk about on the channel is financial advice. I'm just a working dad who wants to make money passively through monthly dividends. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around. Consider giving the video a like, subscribe to the channel. On this series, what we do is we go through my monthly dividend portfolio and go over the stocks in there and the dividends that I get every month. And hopefully, as you'll see each month, the amount of dividends each month is going up. So over time, the number, which is not big, but still represents a fair investment on my part, is just going to keep growing and growing. And eventually, I'm going to have enough monthly income to, pay some bills or go on a vacation or do something. And it's just going to keep going up from there, hopefully. So that's the goal. That's what we do on this channel. One caveat to that, as you may remember if you watched my last episode, which was the very first episode of the show, we did have a big spike because we had two special dividends from Main Street Capital and Gladstone Investment. So the total number of dividends this month is going to be lower, but that is only if you include the special dividends from last month. If you take those out, I think it's going to end up being higher. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. The first monthly dividend in my portfolio is from Pennant Park Floating Rate Capital, ticker symbol PFLT. This is a BDC that has floating rate debt, but also non floating rate debt. And it's been great. It's very high yield, pays monthly. I've been very happy with this stock. So for July 2025, PFLT paid me a total of $6.22. The next fund in my monthly dividend portfolio is IGLD, which is the FT Vest Gold Strategy Target Income ETF. And this is a covered call ETF that does a synthetic strategy with the price of gold. I have a very small position in this, but so far I'm pretty happy with it. Although, as you'll see, the distribution I received from this in July 2025 was 64 cents. If you remember from June 2025, the distribution was 66 cents. So even though I had a fraction more shares in July, I got paid less. And that's because the dividend or the distribution fluctuates for covered call ETFs. And that's one of the reasons why I don't just go all in on covered call ETFs. Actually, initially, when I started investing, I only invested in equities because I didn't like the idea of the variability. Obviously, this is only 2 cents. It's not really a big deal, but you can imagine the more shares you own, the more the dividend per share fluctuates, the more fluctuation you're going to see in your payout each month. So, as you'll see in the portfolio, I have other covered call ETFs, and I understand that this is just the way they work. So I'm okay. I accept it. But that's part of the reason why I don't just go all in on covered call ETFs like some other people do. Anyway, moving on. The next stock in my monthly dividend portfolio is Agree Realty Corporation, ticker symbol ADC. This is a great REIT, real estate investment trust. This is probably the best one out there for the monthly payers. I love it. I want to buy more, even though it's a little expensive. It's worth it. It's worth the premium just to buy good quality. So for July 2025, Agree Realty paid me $5.90. The next symbol in my portfolio is Horizon Technology Finance Corporation, ticker symbol HRZN. This is a BDC that focuses on technology ventures, and in July, it paid me 92 cents. As I said in the last video, I am thinking about selling this one, and spoiler alert, as of the time I'm recording this video, which is in August, I've already sold it. They announced that they're merging with another company, and the news of the merger didn't even help it. And I'm pretty certain that this company is going to get hit with a dividend cut in the future. So this is not one I want to be a part of. I only had about 8 shares and some change. but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just trying to do my best here. I'm looking for more stability, even though the yield is crazy. So this is not one that I'm sticking around in. But like I said, the month of July, it paid me 92 cents. The next symbol in my portfolio is Main Street Capital, ticker symbol MAIN. This is a monthly paying BDC, business development company. This is a fantastic stock, probably my best overall stock, and I think it's my biggest position in my portfolio. Nothing but good things to say about this one. In July, it paid me $7.74, which is fantastic. Just an ordinary dividend, but as of the time I'm recording this, I see that they're going to pay another special dividend in September. So I'm looking forward to that. The next symbol in my portfolio is Realty Income Corp, ticker symbol O. This is another REIT, real estate investment trust, pays monthly. Everybody knows this one. They call themselves the monthly dividend company. It's gigantic. They have properties all over the world. I did recently see a video from Russell Knopf. I'm not sure how to say his last name correctly. Sorry, Russ. The name of the channel is Dapper Dividends. Great channel. He's a really nice guy and he's really knowledgeable. He did talk about an issue in the Realty Income's investor presentation. It seems like they misvalued their cost of capital, which kind of inflates the profitability of their investments. I would encourage everybody to go watch it. I mean, it's you got to take a little bit of a deep dive into the numbers and the concepts here, but it's worth it. You should educate yourself on that. So that video made me a little more hesitant about Realty Income. I mean, it's still profitable, it's still a good company, but maybe the quality of the investment is not as good as it seems. But anyway, for now, it's a big position of mine. I'm happy to keep reinvesting the dividends. I probably will buy more in the future still anyway. For July, Realty Income paid me $8.87. The next symbol in my portfolio is Stag Industrial, ticker symbol STAG. Stag is a REIT that owns industrial properties. This is a great company doing really well, and I keep saying I always want to buy more of it, but I just never get around to doing it. So I haven't bought any more since the last video, but I really want to. It's kind of a question what's going to happen with industrial policy in the US and where things are going to go, but I still think this is a good investment. So for July 2025, Stag paid me a total of $2.07. The next symbol in my portfolio is SPYI, which is the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. This one is pretty famous now. This is a covered call ETF that owns the S&P 500, sells covered calls on it, very consistent, uses good tax strategy. This has just been great so far. I really like the NEOS funds. If you watched my last video, you know I have a few of them. I'm even thinking about adding a few more, but I also don't really want to have too many covered call funds in my portfolio. But SPYI is great. So for July 2025, SPYI paid me a distribution of $5.11. The next symbol in my portfolio, also from NEOS, is the NEOS NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF, ticker symbol QQQI. This is basically the same strategy as SPYI, but it owns the NASDAQ 100. QQQI has been blowing up because the NASDAQ has been doing so well. And one thing I like about the NEOS funds is their consistency. So the variation in the distributions isn't crazy like with other funds. And the yield is super high. So I'm pretty happy with this one overall. For July 2025, QQQI paid me a distribution of $5.72. And the next fund in my portfolio, the final NEOS fund, is the Bitcoin High Income ETF, ticker symbol BTCI. This is another NEOS fund that sells covered calls on Bitcoin. I said in my last video, I'm not really interested in owning Bitcoin directly, but I think that this is a good play for income. It varies a lot. It has a high yield, but the distribution varies more than the other NEOS funds. So I'm not sure. It's really tempting to put a lot of money into this because the yield is so high, but I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. But for now, anyway, I'm just going to sit back and keep collecting these nice distributions. So for July 2025, BTCI paid me a total of $5.99. The next fund in my portfolio is the Reeves Utility Income Fund, ticker symbol UTG. This is a closed end fund that owns Utility stocks, it's been really good, but I don't have a big position in it. This is another one that I want to invest more in, but I just hasn't lined up with the timing. So just in general, I try to invest, like I try to buy shares close to the EX date so that I'm maximizing the productivity of my dollars, which is not a lot of money, but basically when the money is not invested, it's sitting in my high yield savings account. So it's earning interest. So my thought process is I want to invested as close to the EX date as I can to have it earn as much interest in the savings account and then go in and hit the EX date and then get the dividends based on that. Obviously, the problem with that strategy is you don't know where the price is going to be. So if you wait till the EX date, maybe the price is high, maybe you don't get as many shares. I don't know if my strategy is the best, but that's kind of the way I think about it is I try to invest, relatively close to the EX date. So it usually just doesn't work out for me with UTG and investing, but I do want to put more into it because this or this fund has been killing it. So for the month of July 2025, UTG paid me a distribution of $1.33. The next fund in my portfolio is the Virtus InfraCap US Preferred Stock ETF, ticker symbol PFFA. This is an ETF that owns a bunch of preferred shares. Preferred shares are very consistent and high yield. They have a whole bunch of quirks that are different. Most of the stocks you own are common shares. But the nice thing about the PFFA ETF is they own them for you and they deal with all the quirkiness of the preferred shares and callbacks and all that stuff. So this has been a great cash generator for me. I'm very happy with this. I definitely want to keep putting money into it. So for July 2025, PFFA paid me a distribution of $3.24. The next symbol in my portfolio is Gladstone Capital, which is ticker symbol GLAD. This is a BDC that I've had for a while, one of my OGs. It's a good company overall. I don't put more into it because I'm a little bit wary about its sustainability. And I'm pretty happy with Main Street Capital in terms of BDCs, but this one has been very reliable so far. For July 2025, GLAD paid me a total dividend of $3.61. The next stock in my portfolio is Gladstone Investment Corporation, ticker symbol GAIN. This is very similar to GLAD. They just have slightly different strategies. They're both BDCs. Gain is another one that's has been very good to me. I can't complain about it, but I do question its sustainability for the future. But for the meantime, happy to hold it and reinvest the dividends. It did pay me a gigantic special dividend last month, so I was very happy about that. But in July 2025, Gain paid me a total of $3.26. The next stock in my portfolio is Gladstone Land Corporation, ticker symbol LAND. If you watched my last video, you saw I was a little hesitant about this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to it and sell it off at a loss or just keep it and keep reinvesting the dividends. As time goes on, I'm less impressed with this stock. So this is a REIT that owns farmland and rents it out to tenant farmers. I think farmland is a good land asset, but I don't know if the tenant farmer model really works. And that's kind of, I think, where the problems are. I did see that they just, as of the time I'm recording this video, they sold some farmland and they made a profit off of it. So that's nice. I don't know if they're really going to turn it around and get their dividend coverage back up. This one might end up getting hit with a dividend cut at some point. So this is another one that's potentially on the chopping block. But I don't own very many shares of it, so it's not a big deal. So anyway, for the time being, in July 2025, Land paid me a total dividend of 95 cents. The next symbol in my portfolio is the FS Credit Opportunities Corp, ticker symbol FSCO. This is a closed-end fund, I believe, that operates like a BDC basically. So they finance companies, they collect, interest on the debt, pays monthly, very high yield. It's a pretty new fund, but I've been pretty happy with it so far. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and probably keep putting more money into it. For July 2025, FSCO paid me a total of $1.16. The next fund in my portfolio is a very well known one. It's the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF, ticker symbol DIVO, DIVO. This is another covered call fund, but instead of going for high yield, it goes more for growth and consistency. I don't have a big position in it, but I like it so far. I do want to buy more of it, as well as its sister fund, IDVO, which is the international version. For July 2025, Devo paid me a distribution of 64 cents. And the last fund in my portfolio is the international version of Devo, which is the Amplify CWP International Enhanced Dividend Income ETF, ticker symbol IDVO. Like I said, it's a covered call fund. It owns international stocks. I think it's great because one of the challenges with a monthly dividend portfolio is getting diversification, and IDVO gives you a way to diversify into international stocks and still get a monthly paycheck. So this fund has been doing really good so far. I also want to build up my position in this. I'm very happy with it. For July 2025, IDVO paid me a distribution of 87 cents. So, with all of that said, my total dividend and distributions for July 2025 were $64.24. So that's about a $30 decrease from the last month, but that's not because my ordinary dividends decreased. It's because I got some gigantic special dividends in June. So overall, the ordinary dividends are just going up and up, and then you get spikes from the special dividends, which are just kind of like bonuses. So my thoughts for the future, I want to keep buying the ones that I've said, like Devo, IDVO, PFLT. I would love to put more into IGLD. Main Street Capital, they're going to have another special dividend. I want to put some more money into that one to try and capture that. There's a lot of good ones here. And then I guess the question is just what am I going to do with land, Gladstone Land Corporation? We'll see. It's a crazy time in the world. There's a lot going on, and there may be an interest rate cut in the future. So that's going to boost the value of a lot of these, especially the REITs. So I'm looking forward to that. Some people say the BDCs will get hurt by the interest rate cut. I think that the actual cut on the interest rate is going to be very low. So I don't think it will really hurt them. And also, the thing to keep in mind is, yes, some of their debt that they own is floating rate, so they'll get less income, but then also their cost of borrowing will go down too. So I think it's kind of a wash. I'm not really like worried about, Main Street Capital suddenly losing a bunch of income. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like and a subscribe. Have yourself a good day.